This is Jazz Mando Tips from www.jazz-mandolin.com and www.petamarpress.com. I'm Pete Martin. Thanks for watching. Today's lesson is Western swing chords, voiced for the mandolin, Eldon Shamblin. Of course, Eldon was the main guitar player in Bob Wills for a long time, and he played these moving bass line type chords that a lot of us know as one of the basics of the Western swing sound. We're going to look at the chords for the common Bob Wills tune, Stay All Night. You ought to see my blue-eyed Sally, she lives way down on Shinbone Alley. The number on the gate is the number on the door, and the next house over is a grocery store. That's the verse of Stay All Night, and you play the chorus the same way. So let's look at how to do this. I have a PDF file available with all the chord voicings that you'll see here. If you want that, just email me and ask for the Eldon Shamblin style chord voicings for mandolin for the Bob Wills tune Stay All Night. So I've zoomed in so you can see the mandolin neck much closer here. Our first chord is simply what a lot of people call a two-finger G chord. It's the open G and D string, the index finger on the 2nd fret of A, and the middle finger on the 3rd fret of E. In this, we're going to strike the open G string as a bass note and then strum the chord. Our second chord on the PDF is labeled G/B. All this means for you that are not used to reading jazz chord notation is a G chord with a B bass note. Anytime you see a letter slash and then another letter, it simply means the chord and what is the bass note of the chord. So here our index finger is on the 4th fret of the G string. Our middle finger flattens out to get the 5th fret of the D and A string, and the pinky plays 7 on the E string. Once again, bass note strum. Then we have a root position C chord. Our index finger bars the 5th fret of the G and D string, ring finger on 7 on A, pinky on 8 on E. Now we have a partial diminished chord, the index finger on the 6th fret of the G string, ring finger on 8 of D, middle on 7 on A, pinky 9 on E. This is only a partial diminished chord because we're only playing 3 of the 4 notes of a full diminished chord. But it works plenty well enough for our purposes here. So the first 4 chords again. Really nice moving chord sound. The next chord we're going to play is a G6 with a D as the bass note. So how we're going to do this, we're going to bar the ring finger on the 7th fret of the A and E strings, the index finger on the 5th fret of the D string, and the middle finger on the 7th fret of the G string. And once again, the G is the bass note. Our next chord is a C sharp diminished, and here we're going to play a full diminished voicing. Middle finger on the 7th fret, the 6th fret of the G string, index on the 5th fret of the D string, pinky on 7 on A, ring on 6 on E. People sometimes, just as a little aside here, people sometimes ask me what's the difference in jazz chords and bluegrass chords. For bluegrass chords, I tell them you stretch your fingers about as far as you can away from each other. And for jazz chords, you jam them about as close as you can together for each other. And this diminished chord that you just learned is about as good of indication of that as I can think of. The next chord is a D7 with a C in the bass note, indicated D7/C. We're going to bar the ring finger once again like we did on the G6 a couple of chords ago, but this time the ring finger plays the 5th fret on both the A and E string. The index finger takes the 4th fret of D, and the middle finger takes the 5th fret of G. And our final chord in the first line, we're halfway through the tune here, is the G/B, which we've already seen. That once again, 4 on G, middle finger bar 5 on D and A, and then the pinky takes 7 on E. So those last 4 chords we did, G6/D, C sharp diminished, D7/C, and G/B, are this. Okay, so here is the first half of the tune. The second half of the tune is very similar. Actually, there's only one chord different. We're going to play the G again, the G/B, C, C sharp diminished and that partial diminished. And here's our only difference. We're going to play a D7 in root position here. Here our index finger is going to bar the 7th fret of the G and D strings, the ring finger on the 9th fret of A, and the middle finger on the 8th fret of E. Now our last 3 chords are going to be exactly the same that we've already done. The C sharp diminished, it is the full diminished form. The D7/C that we've already seen, and the G/B that we've already seen. So here is the last 4 chords of the entire progression, which is the last 4 of the second line if you're reading the PDF chart. So here is the whole second line, or the whole second half of the verse of Stay All Night. So now let me play the whole thing slow. And now again, a little faster. You ought to see my blue-eyed Sally. She lives way down on Shinbone Alley. The number on the gate is the number on the door, and the next house over is a grocery store. Work on all of this and learn it, and I hope you enjoy playing this kind of stuff. It's a wonderful music style, and the mandolin fits in really well, especially electric mandolin in an electric western swing band. So have fun. If you are at all interested, I teach private lessons in person in Seattle and Issaquah, Washington. I teach a number of different styles, including bluegrass, fiddle tunes, bebop, era jazz, and western swing. And I also teach by Skype. So you can contact me at the websites that are listed here in the credits. Have fun and happy picking.